Have you ever wondered how hackers test their skills without breaking the law? Or maybe you want to learn ethical hacking but are worried about damaging your computer? What if I told you that you can create a safe, isolated playground right on your PC, where you can practice hacking techniques legally? Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to set up your ethical hacking lab. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully functional lab where you can learn, experiment, and grow your cybersecurity skills, all without any risk to your main system. In this video, we will provide a step-by-step guide on downloading VirtualBox, installing it on the Windows operating system, and downloading and installing Kali Linux on VirtualBox. We also provide a detailed guide on downloading and installing Ubuntu and Windows 11 on VirtualBox. Before continuing to this video, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. Let's get started. First, let's talk about why a virtual lab is so important for ethical hacking. Imagine trying to learn how to pick locks by practicing on your neighbor's door. Not a good idea, right? A virtual lab is like having your own set of practice locks at home. It's a safe, controlled environment where you can try out tools, run attacks, and learn from your mistakes, without any real-world consequences. Plus, if something goes wrong, you can just reset your lab and start over. No harm done. So, how do we build this lab? We're going to use a tool called VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a free program that lets you run multiple operating systems on your computer simultaneously. Think of it as creating mini computers inside your main computer. You can download VirtualBox from the official website, virtualbox.org. Make sure you're downloading it from the official site to avoid any unwanted surprises. Once you're on the VirtualBox website, click on Downloads. Choose the version that matches your operating system, Windows, Mac, or Linux. Download the installer. Once the download is finished, find the file in your Downloads folder. It's usually called VirtualBox Setup followed by some numbers. Open the file as an administrator to start the installer. The setup wizard will open. Click Next to continue. Accept the license agreement and go Next. You'll see some options for where to install VirtualBox. The default settings are fine for most people, so just click Next. You can select what services you want to install and the installation location. You might see a warning about network interfaces. Don't worry, this is normal. Click Yes to continue. Click on Yes if you have found a message of missing dependencies. Now, click Install. The installation will take a minute or two. When it's done, click Finish. VirtualBox will open automatically. Now, it's time to add our first virtual machine. Kali Linux is the go-to operating system for ethical hackers. It comes packed with hundreds of security tools, ready to use. To get Kali, go to kali.org and click on Downloads. Click on the Installer Images to download the ISO for your system. You can also download pre-built images for virtual machines such as VMware and VirtualBox by clicking on the virtual machines. Choose the installer ISO for your system, usually the 64-bit version. Click on the download icon to download the ISO file. This file is like a digital DVD that we'll use to install Kali inside VirtualBox. If you have a slow and interrupted connection, I would recommend using a torrent to download the installation file. If you have downloaded the ISO file successfully, open VirtualBox and click New to create a new virtual machine. Give it a name, like Kali Linux. Set the type to Linux and the version to Debian, 64-bit. For memory, I recommend at least 2 GB, but more is better if you have it. Create a virtual hard disk, 20 GB is a good starting point. Once your VM is created, select it and click Settings. For memory, I recommend at least 2 GB, but more is better if you have it. Create a virtual hard disk. 20 gigabytes is a good starting point. Once your VM is created, select it and click Settings. Go to Storage, click on the empty disk icon, and choose your Kali ISO file. Now, start the VM. You'll see the Kali installer boot up. Follow the installation steps. Choose your language. Set your location. Configure the keyboard. Configure the network. And set up a user account. Now, configure the clock. Select the partitioning method. I recommended choosing Guided Use Entire Disk. Now, choose the required partition schema. Here I have selected the option All Files in One Partition. Now, select the option Yes and click on the Continue button. Select the software you want to install with the Kali Linux operating system. And let it install. Once it's done, you'll have a fresh Kali Linux machine ready to go. But a real lab needs more than just one machine. Let's add another Linux OS, like Ubuntu or Parrot OS. Both are popular for learning and testing. Here I am going to download Ubuntu. To download it, go to ubuntu.com from your browser and download the ISO for the desktop version. Repeat the same steps in VirtualBox. Click New. Name your VM. Select Linux and the right version. Assign memory. Create a virtual hard disk. And attach the ISO. Now, click on the Start button to install the OS just like you did with Kali. Select the option Try or install Ubuntu. Choose your language. Set up accessibility if required. Select your keyboard language. Now, select the Install Ubuntu option and click Next. Select the way you want to install and go Next. Now select the option Erase Disk and install Ubuntu. On the next screen, create your account for Ubuntu OS. Pick up your time zone and go Next. Review your choices and click on the Install button to start the installation process. After your installation is completed, click on the Restart Now button. If you have any issues while starting Ubuntu, check for Boot Device Order and put the hard disk at the top of the boot sequence. Now you have two different Linux systems to play with. Next, let's add a Windows machine. This is important because many real-world targets run Windows. You can download a free Windows 10 or 11 evaluation ISO from Microsoft's website. Here I am going to download and install Windows 11. For this, search for Windows 11 Evaluation ISO. Click on the link to download the ISO file. Now, you have to repeat the same steps as we have done for Kali and Ubuntu. In VirtualBox, click New, name your VM Windows 11, select Windows as the type, and pick the right version. Assign at least 4 GB of memory, more if you can. Create a virtual hard disk. 80 GB is a good size for Windows. Attach the ISO in the storage settings. Start the VM and follow the Windows installation steps. Now, select your language settings and keyboard settings. Accept the license terms. Select the location on your computer where to install Windows 11. When all the settings are completed, click on the Install button. Choose your country or region. Now, choose the right keyboard layout or input method. At the installation process, select the username and password. Add the security questions. It may be required for resetting if you lose your password. Choose your privacy settings for your device. You don't need to activate Windows for lab use, the evaluation version works fine for testing. Now that you have multiple VMs, setting up the network is time. Let's test if everything is working. Start up all your VMs, Kali, Ubuntu, and Windows. Log into each one. Open a terminal in Kali and type ifconfig or IP to find your IP address. Do the same in Ubuntu. And in Windows, open Command Prompt and type IP protocol configuration. Now, try to ping one VM from another. For example, in Ubuntu, type ping, Kali IP address. If you get replies, your network is set up correctly. Try pinging from Kali to Ubuntu, and so on. If the pings work, your lab is ready for action. If you run into any issues, double-check your network settings in VirtualBox. Make sure all VMs are on the same internal network. Restart the VMs if needed. Sometimes, you might need to disable firewalls inside the VMs for testing, but remember to turn them back on when you're done. Congratulations! You now have a fully functional ethical hacking lab on your own computer. You can practice scanning, exploitation, and defense, all in a safe, legal environment. Remember, always use your skills responsibly and only in your own lab. If you found this guide helpful, please hit the like button, it really helps the channel. Have any questions or want to share your own lab setup tips? Drop a comment below, I read every one. Don't forget to subscribe for more step-by-step tutorials on ethical hacking and cybersecurity. Thanks for watching.